How many years is this?
It's going to be exactly 1 year.
Oh,
So this is an anniversary episode.
How do you make sure that all the produce that you say or you claim to be organic?
The entire aspect starts from what is going to the input side of the farm.
I can't eat outside food at all now. What can be done which can maybe influence all these hotels and restaurants to maybe change their behavior?
Consumers cannot assume I have money I can buy through. It is not possible. They need to put enough energy, enough effort to organize their food systems.
There is very little money that flowing into the agriculture space.
We had a good 5 acres of land access. My father couldn't make our ends meet. You can imagine, the agrarian crisis we are going through.
Farming communities are like very fragmented in India. How do you fund something like this?
Farmer is exposed to weather is not under his control. Market is not under his control. Pest management is not under his control. Soil management is not under control. Irrigation is not under his control. Power is not under his control. And absolutely no control on any parameter he operates on. But he still farms. The food systems in India won't change if you don't get young people into farming.
Seema say that you are now becoming a farmer or you want to become a farmer.
Yeah. Even whatever is happening in AI, I keep thinking about it. Like maybe things that are more physical in nature, and maybe over the next 10-20 years will really make a comeback. The organic, carbon content in soil going from 0.3 to
2.44%.
Yeah, that's kind of special.
If you really look at palak grown in our research programs and palak outside taken, there's a huge difference in iron content.
How do we enable a lot more Akshayakalpas? As in,
You said you've moved a lot towards organic. Do you feel organically grown food can start replacing supplements?
for sure. If I had to put it in points, I would say it's nutrition first, followed by pesticides, no pesticides, and fertilizers. So these would be the three right order.
Taste doesn't even feature.
Oh. Amongst all the investments, we've done 120 odd investments. The most proud I feel about Akshayakalpa, so everything is in sync.
That 5 crores infusion which happened at that point of time actually saved us. And without that, I think we were gone. So what made you invest that? Last time I asked you, you dodged that question. Yeah, okay.
Shashi, welcome to Good Food Talks. We started Good Food Talks a year ago with an intent to get people closer to understanding food better. Where does it come from? What goes into it? What is the impact of climate on food? What is the impact of plastic on food, of your kitchen waste on food? We've met stalwarts from various walks of life, from advertising to climate action, from waste management to brand building, all pivoting on one subject, which is food. Nithin, you were kind enough to kickstart this podcast for us when we were still figuring out how to do it and what we should be doing. So thank you so much for that.
And how many years is this?
It's going to be exactly 1 year. So this is an anniversary episode now.
Okay.
So it gave us the initial momentum that we really needed. So thank you for doing that. Shashi, you've been very busy featuring in other podcasts and not coming on our own. So it took this anniversary episode and Nithin to bring you on Good Food Talks. It's going to be very interesting to get your unique perspective on food.
Thank you, Achana.
This also happens to be the first time Shashi and Nithin are in front of the camera together. One who has worked at grassroots level, and the other who's a serial investor in all things health and food. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. So let's get started. Your starting points are very different. One in trading, finance, the other in farming. But both of you have something in common, which is both of you are very passionate about health and food. So what makes you so passionate about it?
No, from my younger years, I've been into sports. So I've always known that staying healthy involves eating healthy as well. So, and food was always a major component. But the realization that the food, etc. As in, you have to question the source of all the food that comes on the table. That maybe kicked in only maybe 2018-19, because that was when we started questioning what is the source of the food, and why. I mean, I guess everyone needs to needs to question that, and I wonder why it took me so long to actually question that. But as and when you question, things become very clear that not all things are not going in the right place, and so that's how I think about health and food in us.
I think my point of view, food comes from a very, very different angle. Born in a farming family, we have seen the worst of farming. Okay, one of the better what you call farming families, maybe you can call on the rich side of the farming family. But we got into a lot of trouble. During 80s. Okay, and parents have to discontinue farming. Okay, for various reasons, and there's no other option. Okay, for example, we went to our relative place and we stayed in relative's place. That's how we got education. Parents couldn't afford education. But the fundamental aspect of the childhood where we saw farming not being viable, okay, is my connect to the food. Okay, still it remains the same problem. The viability of a farming still doesn't exist. See, we had a good 5 acres of land access. Still we have land access as a family. My father couldn't make our ends meet. You can imagine, okay, the agrarian crisis we are going through. See, that's the only way to solve that problem is, I think, get some efficiencies in growing food, okay, and get farmers make good amount of money. Without farmers making good amount of money, food systems cannot be fixed. If you don't fix it there, I think the entire value chain is compromised. That's my fundamental belief. That's a starting point for me to really get to organize this food ecosystem. Vachna. Yeah.
If you look at investments in the farming ecosystem, there's a lot of investment that happens on the input side, which could be seeds, pesticides, fertilizers, whatever sprays, tractor, drones. And there's a lot of investment that happens on the value added side, which is, once you buy it from the farmer, it becomes biscuits, chocolates, chips,
correct.
whatever else, right? But there's not much investment that is happening as far as farming is concerned, right? Whenever you go to events and you're speaking about this, people say, no, but there is investment in agri-tech.
Right.
But there is no investment in agriculture.
Right.
And is that something that you are also noticing, Nithin?
Yeah, I mean, and while we're doing our bits, but there is, like you rightly said, there is very little money that's flowing into the agriculture space, and I don't know. I mean, Shashi has to tell. He's probably more closer to the farmers, as in what can get people putting money behind farmers, because there's a complete disconnect between the people like us who are living in cities and the farmers, so so it's, I mean, I guess I'll want to hear what Sashi's answer is on this. So.
See, which I think is a wonderful point. Nithin, also, the middle piece, which we call it as a farming, agriculture, whatever we can call, there is the input side of a farming. Right. There is the post-harvest side of the farming. It's very well understood, okay? Ecosystem is understood, business models are understood. The piece which we operate in middle is the most riskiest piece.
Right.
For example, a seed company selling a seed to a farmer never ensures farmer will make money out of this or not. If the input is given, it's farmer's prerogative to buy a seed, now farm.
Right.
Okay, now produce something. Similarly, a pesticide company or a chemical fertilizer company, etc., who are giving those inputs to farmer, they will never ensure, okay, that farmer ever makes money. They don't have bad intent. Okay, I'm not questioning their intent. Okay, but the riskiness of that entire proposition. Okay, farmer is exposed to weather is not under his control, market is not under his control. Okay, pest management is not under his control, soil management is not under control, irrigation is not under his control, power is not under his control, and absolutely no control on any parameter he operates on, but he still farms. So that is what I think keeping these investments away from that space. Okay, people don't like risky bets, risky businesses. Of course, people like post-harvest what happens. Hey, that's very easy proposition. Hey, you got the purchase this one at this price, and you do value add, and of course you do marketing and you sell that. Okay, that is a very well understood piece. So similarly, okay, buyers of the world, I think Monsantos of the world, they do a lot of seed research. Of course, they sell seeds. I'm not saying there's a right way to do it, but they sell seeds, and that is very well understood. Seed dynamics is very well understood. You produce at a cost, and you sell at a cost, and as a business model. But farmer who buying that seed, what happens? For example, take potato as an example. Okay, one of the most consumed as part of that OTP, onion, tomato, potato. Potato is one of the biggest consumed item in India. Take late blight attacks. Okay. And there's no seed in the country today, okay, which can stop a late blight attack. So when potato starts flowering and so the blight attack happens, okay, then it's gone. Crop is gone. Okay, the potatoes will become very, very small. The market acceptability becomes very poor. Yield drastically drops. So you can't do much, okay. Right. Now, still, there's no work happened on that, but still the farmer buys the seed from a seed company and still, sows. The challenge is that, so investments happening in that space is extremely critical, but how that investments will happen, it needs to happen in a farmer field. It's extremely difficult to get a VC, PE, or even a debt funding happening in the farmer field. So in this case, what happens is, we need to start reimagining how this need to handle that risky piece. So what is lacking there? See, what is lacking is the services, not the inputs. Inputs are already sorted out. For example, extension services are lacking. Okay, if you have animal husbandry, para-veterinary, veterinary services, soil management, okay, manure making, okay, local manure making, and how to, do the local seed saving. For example, local seed saving, a lot of talk, but we get one of the most inferior quality seeds into the field. That's the reason seed companies make money. Okay, because they give a better quality seeds and they make money. How do we get this local, aspects organized? We need to organize the services, part of it. And I want to hear from you. So how do we solve this very complex? Yes.
No, I basically, one of the challenges is the farming communities are like very fragmented in India. Like, how do you fund something like this? Like, if you have 1,000 farmers in one village, like, how do we say we want to pick up a project and we decide to fund it? The economics of it doesn't add up, right? As in, what do you think about that?
See, the way we need to look at, if you look at Akshayakalpa model,
right,
the way I see is we should fund services.
Correct.
Okay, delivery services to farmer in the field, extension services, we need to make it very, very clear. What is an extension service? Okay, let's define.
Right.
A guy on the bike, morning 6 o'clock in the farmer field, doing a farm visit, and trying, hey, there's a late blight attack incidents. So you need to really wake up now, fix it. Right. So that kind of a service, can you deliver in the field, is critical. Okay. That doesn't exist in India today. It is controlled by a local distributor who is distributing seeds, chemicals, etc. Investments, see, your investment in Akshayakalpa is, the way I really look at it is, you invested in services business.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't think you invested, in my opinion, on the market side of our work. So that's what is clicking these farms working. So therefore, we need to scale. How do you invest into these people who are delivering these services? And these services cannot be a charity.
Right.
Okay, these services needs to be standalone profitable. For example, Akshayakalpa doesn't deliver any services free of cost.
Right.
Veterinary service is costed, para-veterinary is costed, soil management, agronomy, trenching, bunding, hedging, beekeeping. every service we provide is costed. Farmer has to pay for it. It becomes viable.
Cost is discounted or is it market?
So it is no loss, no profit. We recover our costs. Okay. It is not a business per
Expense.
se.
Okay.
But what that service is making is we are ensuring farmer makes money. That's it. Now that is the ecosystem we need. The moment we engineer farmer making money, and the output side of that, the market actually exists. We need not engineer a lot of it. There are a lot of people can buy from farmers, and actually do value add and market it. And the input side companies exist.
Correct,
Therefore, we need not engineer that. What we need to do is we need to engineer the services side of it. So one of the greatest examples I've seen, I spent good 1 year. Good friend of his is a professor there. When you travel between Bay Area, San Francisco to Hollywood, there's a valley called Salinas Valley. Amazingly fertile belt. In that belt, most of the tabletops, which is required for America, is grown. In that one valley, 80% of the tabletops basically greens, you eat, before your meal, a company called Dole operates there. I spent around 8 months, spending in that farms there, working with that company. And local university, what they do is amazing work. What they do, local universities come and put a camp there. 2 acres, 3 acres, 5 acres camp, US, they fence it and they got, their vehicles. Right. And they go to farms. Universities go to farms, identify, hey, this is an apid attack. Starting now, let's fix it. And the best of the extension services are delivered by universities. There.
But when you say extension services, as in US is known for using fertilizers and pesticides.
Yes. So the input side is there, but just input side doesn't solve the problem. So even the farmers there will fail if you just focus on the input side of it. What they augment that one with the extension services. If you just ignore the input side, it has got its own challenges. But where they are succeeding is these university interventions. University of Berkeley, and this look at their extension division. They don't have a campus. Their campus is moving. And can you imagine this kind of an extension service to make that middle piece less riskier? I'm not saying we can cut down all the risk, but we can actually reduce that risk. So therefore, it becomes investable. Even the banks today, they don't lend to a farmer because most of the lending has gone default.
Correct,
For example, in our case also, when a new farmer comes into Akshayakalpa grid, we put that case to a banker. Out of 100 cases, we put 95 rejections. Because of civil issues. There are a lot of issues which beyond is our control. We can't help it. Now, then what we do, small intervention. Can you go to SAG? Can you get the first cow funding happen? Then let's show some cash flows happening. Can you take it to then a commercial bank, and see, can they lend it at 9%, 10%? Or else the lending is actually anywhere between 18% to 36% is the lending range right now, into the most riskiest piece. Because of risk associated, that's how the lending happens. So, but we don't know, Nithin, how to solve that. But only way is demonstrations. Can you reduce that risk over a period of time? I think
and other organizations like yours, like Akshayakalpa, working across providing services to the farmers?
See, there are, but the challenge there is, it is just one aspect of it. Can I do capacity building? My question is, what is capacity building? There's nothing like capacity building. The capacity building needs to be really implemented at a field level.
Right.
You can't call, for some meeting, esoteric meeting, do a PowerPoint presentation, do a tick box on capacity building. It is useless. You need to have an extension worker working with them. See, just to give an example, today we operate 2,200 farms, 350 people, extension officers. They are not sales agents. Extension officers in the field every morning at 6 o'clock. If you can ensure this, this ratio is a little bit bloated because we want to ensure that we don't fail, but it can evolve. So this is where the investments are required. Extension services require huge investments, but nobody funds them. Most of the extension interventions today, they are grants.
Mhm.
Okay, for example, people like Pradhan, they are doing good work. Okay, not saying they're not doing good work, amazing work, but it's a grant money. So we need somewhere, you need to make it. How long you can get a grant money? It's not possible.
And with Akshayakalpa, you have access to markets, as in you've created a market as well. Like, how does a services company which is not creating this market, like just provide services, as in how will they exist or they make money?
Yes. So this is a good question. Okay. So the way we need to reimagine is there's one Akshayakalpa. We need to create lot more agrarian ecosystems. Okay, where they can take this produce and process it and do value addition and do market it. This company which is giving extension services, I think it needs to specialize in delivering that services. Get a tie-up from these companies. Akshayakalpa can be one. Tomorrow it could be ITC, could be Britannia or whatever. Okay, in the ecosystem it exists. So that's how it should evolve. I think some of the thoughts Rajesh was bringing on to you was this.
Right.
Okay, how do we professionalize this? Okay, as a let me say, not a money spinner, this extension services, but it should be standing on its own legs. And these companies come and do value additions. For example, in Akshayakalpa, I think we discussed this point. Today, we are giving market access to milk and eggs, and a little bit of a vegetables, etc. But there are other produce. We have not done anything about it. Now we are facilitating that one with a lot of people to be sold. So therefore, this needs to be looked in a holistic manner, that it should not be that I do extension, I do market. We need to really look at the services as a one entity, and it should become self-sustainable on its own legs. And marketing companies, I think they should come and work with these kind of organizations and provide market access. That's how I really look at. We need not solve a lot of things. At the input side, a lot of disagreements are there. Let us assume that's what it is right now. We can't solve it. Extension services can change that narrative. For example, how did we eliminate all the manure coming from outside in Akshayakalpa farms? That's an extension service. See, recently we measured at an average, Akshayakalpa farmer has made 300 tons of manure on his own on a yearly basis. That is what is required to change the narrative. And I don't need a centralized manure making company supplying manure to me. He can make much cheaper, in a much what you call palatable manner, at his own pace, what is required for himself. That's exactly
in Akshayakalpa, I mean, one of the facts that you had told me, which is very, very startling, is the organic carbon content in soil going from 0.3 to 3%.
2.44%. Yeah.
So that's kind of special. So how do you feel about it?
No, it's extremely proud about it. Okay, but as part of last 6-7 months, you also know I wrote an email to you that I've been sitting and talking to people and trying to explain this. People don't understand. They feel it's still riskier. Here to come and invest. And build businesses. People understand the market side very well. Beautifully, they understand. And there are companies. Who are investors. Who can invest there. With good market traction. There's the input side. It is well understood. But the problem is, no matter how proud we feel about it, understanding of that space is extremely poor. How the soil organic carbon reduces the risk of a farmer. That articulation doesn't exist today. And it's just a metric, and to feel good about. But the way I see is, my farmer risk is going down. That's how we should focus on. Keep pushing on this manure making. And there are some farmers agree, some farmers don't agree. But only job is role modeling. Go and prove that it is working. Others will copy. Amount of copying it has happened. It's just amazing. Over a period of last 15 years.
Good.
There's an example of one of our farmers, and when we keep meeting farmers as well, and he said something very interesting. He said that, like every other company that is there is like a government school. So you produce what you want. As long as you bring it and give it to me, that's all I care about. I don't care what has happened on the input side of it, right? Like whether it's on the soil or how you take care of your cows or any of those things. And he said Akshayakalpa is like a convent school. They're very strict. You have to follow the rules. You have to go by the SOP that has been set. But you come out a much better person, right? And for them, I think getting that support which makes them focus only on two things, which is farming and the cows.
Right.
Every other problem of his is handled by us.
Mm.
I think is very empowering for them, because you are now fully focused on doing those two things
Right.
really, really well.
How do we enable a lot more Akshayakalpas? As in,
So that's a very tricky question.
Yeah.
See, the work what we are doing, nobody wants to do. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a honest answer. Okay, everybody wants to trade. Okay, and they're happy with it. But I don't know, Nithin. We need to do a little bit of experimentation
Okay.
and see how we can scale this. But is it scalable? Yes. Okay, in my opinion, it is scalable.
Right.
And we need a little bit more demonstrations. That's what some of the initiatives what we have taken is. We want to demonstrate not only in commodity and a community basis. Right now, we are done at an individual farmer level. We want to a little bit go and adopt 20 villages.
Right.
Only focus on those 20 villages. Don't go anywhere. Just can you start involving, start first year 10% of the community, next year 20% of the community, 30%, maybe by 100% of the community in probably 10 to 15 years.
Right.
That demonstrations actually is what required. We lack that.
And wherever you are present already, as in you said, there's a lot of copying.
Yes.
Is it mainstream? As in has all the farmers in a village copied where there are a
Yes.
few?
Entire fodder systems have been copied. Entire manure making systems have been copied. You just go and see. Every cow feeding, silage picking has been copied. Become almost every farmer now has a silage in those villages.
Yeah.
Those farmers now, it should not be Akshayakalpa's credit. That farmer whom we enabled, now he is becoming championing those communities. What is our job? Our job is not go there and do a lot of things. Our job is we need to champion one person who can actually become central to that entire articulation. That was Dr. Reddy's vision. Dr. Reddy wanted, when he told, I want to work in one entire village, he told, no, that's not our job. Go to one village, identify one farmer, you champion him, okay, to take that entire narrative of farming, okay, into that community. You should make him a hero. In Akshayakalpa is not the hero. The farmer who is earning that much and who is making that change is the hero. Housing has been copied. Water feeding systems have been copied. Okay, trenching, bunding. It's so heartening. Okay, other day I was in very, very remote part of Changalpattu. Very difficult project for us. And there, amount of copying and trenching and bunding is happening. It's so heartening. Okay, it's not a government program. Okay, by the way. Okay, so that's what is required.
But then, what happens if all the farmers want to get on Akshayakalpa? As in, do you?
No, that's not the model. The model here is Akshayakalpa can be enabler to show that farming as a way.
Correct. Yeah.
So therefore, lot more. That's the reason I'm saying lot more investments needs to happen to keeping that as a center. And can we repeat what they are doing? Okay, that's the whole model. So Akshayakalpa becoming bigger, I believe it's a problem in my opinion. That's my personal view. Of course, there are shareholders, they have got a view. But we need to really focus on solving fundamental core issues. Keep taking them to farmers and the farmers will, disseminate. That's how I am really looking at it.
Like, for example, if an Akshayakalpa farmer makes ₹1 lakh a month, like you have, 20 people around him who are farmers who copy, which is good. But they're not able to make ₹1 lakh a month because they don't have access to market. So then what do you do?
See, this is a misarticulated vision of extension. Market exists. Okay. Now, if you really look at Akshayakalpa farmer, not that we are paying too much of money, it's not true.
Right.
Okay. What is happening is the production efficiencies have improved. The market already exists, Nithin. Okay.
Right.
There's no need to do anything on that. Okay. Yes. Can we premiumize it? All those things is a matter of detailing.
Okay.
There's no need to engineer market. The cost of production on that is coming down. Productivity of animal is going up. Productivity of a soil is going up. That's where he will make money. He will not make money by somebody paying better prices. It will never ever happen, Nithin. The moment the better, just look at how the dairy companies operate. No, they supply the feed, okay, and they pay money to farmer. What are you doing? You're technically by supplying feed, you're taking the money out, you're paying something. That's not the model. So today, even for example, in a conventional dairy, even if a dairy company pays 40 to 45 rupees to a farmer, it's a loose proposition on a liter of milk. We are able to benchmark milk production at 22 rupees. Okay, we can demonstrate that one by the micro level breakdown of what is the 22 rupees for a cost of production. What is the feed cost? What is the fodder cost? What is the medicine cost? What is the interest cost? Okay, what is the labor cost? We can go detail that one, and we have detailed it today.
Right.
Okay, and now he is making 12 to 14 rupees on a liter production of milk. That's a profit. So that's how we need to start. See, the agrarian systems never worked like this in India. Agrarian systems were mainly livelihood driven. When the market focused, okay, the agrarian systems evolved. They what we did was the surplus production became a commodity. How that surplus came, at what cost it came, nobody focused on that. So of course there are a lot of government committees on MSPs. Okay, a lot of work has happened. Okay, at what price farmer? I'll just give Tiptur is a greatest example. Copra, Tiptur copra today 31,000 rupees per quintal. Okay, it has varied from 4,000 rupees to 31,000 rupees. You tell me, what is the price of that copra? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. No MSP. MSP system, okay, dictates at 11,200 rupees, okay, for a quintal, plus, okay, some 10% addition on that. Around 11,800 is what MSP says. But the price has swung from 3,000, 4,000 rupees to 31,000. Now imagine, okay, how the farmer balances this one out? Second problem. Okay, now 31,000. Why it became a 31,000? Because there is no copra in the market. That's the reason there's a lot more demand. Now, the what market needs and what farmer is doing, it is not in sync. So it is swinging. Okay, right. That's the reason it becomes risky. That's the reason nobody invests. That's a challenge.
For you, what caused the shift from food being a personal choice and trying to think of it from your personal point of view to making it more systemic?
I mean, no, like I said earlier, I should have thought about it much earlier in life. Like, but around 2018-19 is when we started our foundation, and that's when we started kind of looking at how the food is produced, and that's when all these questions started coming only around that time, because until then it was. I was just too busy with life and didn't really question. So whatever was put on the table, I was eating it. And I can't really recall, like, is there like a one instance where suddenly my eyes open? I don't think there's anything like that. So it was maybe slow and gradual, and then it became really like. Over the last few months, I've been so picky about how we get our food, make sure that all the fruits, vegetables, etc. come from either Akshayakalpa or from Bhumi, or make sure all the milk products and all from Akshayakalpa, and then and eggs from Akshayakalpa for sure. Then meat, eggs, etc. I make sure it's from organic again. So I mean, in life you can control basically 80-90% of what you eat. I mean, 10% you have to assume. I mean, you have to go out and eat. You can't control at that time what is the food put on a table. So there's no one instance that suddenly I can say that somehow this suddenly made me conscious, but it was like a slow, gradual process.
In one of the podcasts, I heard Seema say that you are now becoming a farmer, or you want to become a farmer.
Yeah. I mean, the EBTL. EBTL is the first project of Rainmatter that we took. That's a 80-acre piece of land. It's near Krishnagiri, and the idea was Suri wild and etc. And in that project, there was a small piece of land that we were allocated, and we were essentially trying to grow whatever, and the thing is to experiment, and like that we are experimenting on everything, from aquaponics to hydroponics to forkponics, and the idea being that we can produce food which is not just for us, as in for the entire team actually. So the entire team, the thing is to make sure that the entire Zerodha's team is also conscious about it, and make sure they have access to food, if to healthy food, if they wish to. And like Shashi was saying, you can't give it for free, because if you give it for free, no one really appreciates it.
Yeah.
I mean, the plan is hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months is to ensure every day there's someone coming to the office with a fresh produce, and people get an option to buy this, but the problem is, on the flip side, is like everyone's so used to nowadays ordering food off these delivery apps. Like, you have to convince people to not do that, and that's a really hard decision to make.
There's a working model for this at Akshayakalpa. All the food that the employees of Akshayakalpa are eating is produced by Akshayakalpa.
Oh.
Except salt,
Right.
everything that you get in the Akshayakalpa canteen. It can be in Tiptur, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, all our farms. All the employees are eating.
Nice. No, but the problem with us is that a lot of our team is working from home, and secondly, the thing is, if you can control what happens in the office hours, like between 10 to 5 or something like that, you can control. You can't control what they go and order at, like, say, midnight on some food delivery app. So that has to be, like, I don't know, consciousness, I guess, that has to come from within, that it is not good for you, kinds. So yeah.
Shashi, there's a parallel with Devarkadu, which is also an experiment of sorts. There's a 75-acre farm that we are also trying to do a lot of R&D in.
Elephants in the bank, the experiment that I'm aware. And we're also doing very similar model outside of Tiptur. It's a program called Devarkadu.
Okay.
So 75 acres of land, we have split into, 1 acre, 3 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres, 15 acres. Like, depending upon how the farmer, would hold a typical land holding.
Yeah.
Now we have created models. This is the third year in making. Now it's very easy for a farmer, to come and say, hey, what will happen in a 1 acre model? What will happen in a 3 acre model? What will happen? So entire integration has been done. We have integrated 6 commodities, starting from banana, dairy is central, and backyard poultry, banana, little bit of a beekeeping, little bit of a tender coconut, little bit of a mushroom growing, little bit of a vegetables.
And sorry, this is, you lease it out to the farmers?
Yeah, no. It's a research program.
Okay.
So in that research program, what are we doing is how these models will evolve. What are the problems you will see if a farmer is doing in his place? What will he see?
Right.
And now we are measuring every aspect, economic aspect of it, soil carbon aspect of it, and diversity aspect of it, and ecology aspect of it. Huge, investments we are making. And of course, that is one pain point in Akshayakalpa right now. On the investments on research, we have cut down this year for various reasons. This model, should be able to objectively demonstrate, that, hey, this will evolve like this. And now what we are doing is, these models where farmer adoption happened, we started measuring. This is what British government started doing. Right. They went to the farmer fields, they started collecting soil samples, they started collecting practices, everything. They put into a model, to say what is happening on soil organic carbon, what is happening on carbon dioxide emissions per liter of milk you're producing. Is it going up? Is it coming down? How the productivity of a soil is going up. So these are the research program which is taken to the field. Yeah. And we have allowed British government to go and measure what is happening in the field. All the research outcomes now we are taking to the field. So this is what we are doing, Nithin. This is probably the one of a kind pilot in the country, but we are doing it very, very silently because a lot of people questioning, a lot of people coming in. I believe it distracts us. A lot of people coming and visiting, asking a lot of questions. It's a huge distraction.
Why don't you, make it as a as another company which is only into research? As in, why do it under Akshayakalpa?
See, that's the whole point, Nithin. I think we came and spoke. Me and Rajesh came and spoke. There's all these learnings. We want to put it under a, let me say, Section 8 or a not-for-profit umbrella.
Right.
So we want to take it to bigger scale. So that's the whole point. But the internal issue, is I don't want this to be a grant model. Initially, it can be supported by a small grant. I'm fine with it. But in a long run, they're not sustainable. Grant models, I think we should forget in agriculture intervention, because once you take a grant and do an intervention, you get used to that. Okay. I think we should get away from that. Question is, how do we prove a model that this research makes money while we continue to, technically lack of other word, it's a creative commons. What you're creating is a creative commons. Okay. You're giving out to people, but your research. So how do you fund these? Okay. There are a lot of questions. Entire Akshayakalpa right now, 7,500 acres of land we are cultivating, 2,200 farmers, is actually technically a research. We should just give away, but there are aspects which we don't know, how they pan out. For example, shareholders, what they think, business model, what it happens. There are a lot of questions. Valid point. We are piloting that. We will see, how it happens, but it needs a pilot. We should not do big bang. I'm very averse on these things, because failures in Indian context are taken extremely negatively. Any failure right now, it's not a Silicon Valley. Any failure, parents will take negatively, society takes negatively, colleagues, everybody takes negatively. So we need to be very, very conscious about that.
Got it. And this Devarkadu, as in, so for example, Vashna said, during how do you control what people eat after work hours? It's a challenge for you also, right? Or do you ensure, do you do something that we can learn from you?
So the 2 meals are, at the office.
Okay.
So a lot of people come to office and have their breakfast at office. Lunch is also at office.
Okay.
Dinner is also there for people who want to to eat. And head out. So those are the 3 things that we are taking care of. But
wherever we have got a field offices, all 3 meals we are controlling.
And sorry, do you charge for the meals?
Yes. It is charged for the meal. It's very nominal. See, it's not very substantial cost also, Nithin. 1 meal we have calculated. We can make a fully organic meal with a costed at a market price ingredients of organic. We can cook at 55 rupees. That's it. Unlimited meal. That's it. And it is so cheap. And a lot of people talk about organic being extremely expensive. I don't believe so. Because we need to put our head down and cook at our home. Everything will be fine. So we are able to do at 55 rupees a meal, unlimited breakfast, lunch and dinner. 40,000 meals a month. So it is possible to change this narrative. But how many people will adapt? How many people have patience? On this one, I don't know, because this is the data what we have. People, if they want to use, understand, very, very happy to.
See, another way I feel is that now that we've been eating this for a very long time, you can see a difference when you stop eating the Akshayakalpa food and you go towards something else. That pulls you back to wanting to, give the right food to your body, because this food it's light on the stomach, it keeps you active. You don't feel that slump immediately after lunch when you when you eat this. So all of those differences. And so when it came back, of course, you're more grateful for, what is available. But
Yeah. How do you make sure that, even when you order stuff, how do you make sure the quality of the food is the same? Like, I can't eat outside food at all now, as in, I'm so used to eating healthy, organic kind of food that it's almost impossible to eat outside food. So I wonder, what can be done, which can maybe influence all these hotels and restaurants to maybe change their behavior.
So it is possible. It is possible, but little bit of education is required. See, restaurants also, they want their clients, They want their clients who actually love that food, Not that they don't want their client, they want repeat orders, people coming again and again. I think it's just a matter of education. I think they're stuck on the cost side of it. So that's the issue.
That's a big thing, as in, like everyone I speak to, they by default they assume that organic is going to be a lot more expensive.
Yes.
So
It is not. It is not. If you really manage it properly, and like what we are doing, it's fully costed, Nithin. P&L is available for, even if anybody wants to explore that, we can share that P&L.
Right.
Everything starting from manpower to ingredients, at what level we have costed. Okay, power. Okay, we cook in methane gas. Okay, but that also we have costed, like a cylinder cost. Okay, our guys have calculated a cylinder.
Yeah.
Now in that one, that's how entire thing is costed. So it is possible to cook a very good food, even if you want to keep a 100% margin, okay, and out of that gross margins, okay, and out of that, okay, you can really, okay, make at least 10, 20%, 30% margins easily. It is possible, very much possible. It's a matter of education.
Got it. Yeah, maybe some ideas. Maybe speak to get some restaurant owners on a podcast and ask them why you don't do this. And
and also the food waste, it's also criminal. Right. They also lose a lot of food. Okay, both input side and post this one. So in our kitchens, if you go, okay, she calls a canteen, we call it a kitchen. In the kitchen, food waste is almost zero. Is a criminal, okay, waste. If you find people wasting food, next day there is no food for them in the kitchen. Yeah. So we need to be very strict about this, because
no, but how is food waste zero? As in, I didn't get this.
For example, you can't take and dump it in, okay, in your waste bin. Okay, so
you need to eat it, whatever you take.
No, whatever you take.
So you take little. So you get used to taking in smaller quantities, because you know that there's a camera and they're watching you, right? That if you dump it, you're going to get called out. Yes. So we're conscious of.
And then what happens at the kitchen level if everyone takes small amounts of quantity? There's going to be some wastage, right?
No, for example, the kitchen management itself is a science. Okay, so what did the science says? Okay, let us take how do you apportion vegetables? Okay, it's your question. Okay, now can you do a little bit of a prep and keep it? Okay. Generally, what happens is you do too much of a prep. In the sense, prepare and keep too many things. Keep it little bit less. And when cook little bit small. Okay, and tell them when people are coming, hey, I'm apportioning because it is reducing. So we need to learn that. We learned over a period of 15 years how to apportion small quantities. Right. And people also learned, hey, if at all, okay, I'm getting some guest inform in advance. Okay, and we also really understood how much people, for example, if you go to Tiptur kitchen, community kitchen, and Changalpattu community kitchen, where the processing plants we operate, is extremely protein heavy. Okay, a lot of vegetables. Okay, a lot of gets cooked in 3-4 vegetables are there for them. They have learned over a period of time. This is how it is, but there's no science to it. But it can be modeled, learned over a period of time. Right. Almost zero waste in the kitchen. Okay, we absolutely zero waste. We are able to engineer kitchens like that. Very simple kitchens. We complicate kitchens. There are a lot of problems. In terms of the way we cook is very bad. And for example, take simple oil. We removed every oil from our kitchens. We make our own oil. Okay, we put a simple oiling unit. It doesn't cost much money. Okay, we need to start thinking like this. We need to get away from the current systems, Nithin. That's the only way. Or else, if you go and see any kitchens operated in a 5-star hotels, extremely badly managed. I've gone there and I don't endorse their kind of a setup, their kind of the food they just lay out there. It's just waste of food. So the culture comes from there. It's a culture issue.
Right. Got it.
There are also restaurants like you were talking about restaurants like Go Native. Who right. Correct, so they take Akshayakalpa's dairy products. So all the dairy that is used over there is Akshayakalpa. They've even written it in their menu that everything is from Akshayakalpa. So if you really want to make the choices, you will, right? Like I think.
Got it.
And that also brings its own set of clientele, right? Like because you know that this person is going the extra mile to invest in good ingredients.
Right.
And in today's day and age of paneer being so adulterated, and I've completely stopped eating paneer outside right now because at home I know that it's Akshayakalpa paneer and I have control over it. Right. When I go out, if it's Go Native, I will have it. But if it's any other restaurant, I won't, right? So I think more and more such possibly awareness, thoughts around food will push us in the right direction. And like you had said in the last time you were on the show, that
Right.
when more of us are asking the right questions, restaurants are also going to possibly get pushed in this direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You said you've moved a lot towards organic. Do
Right.
you feel organically grown food can start replacing supplements?
For sure. I mean, that's the only. I mean, the idea of going organic, like someone was saying yesterday that the iron content in apple is down 80% from 30 years back to now. And if you're eating the same apple, if you're getting 80% less iron, like what's the point, right? So absolutely 100% agree that if you eat organic, your nutrients, etc., are going to be taken care of, and that's the only reason of searching for organic, because as in at the end of the day, whatever you earn, the point is you earn to live and to eat good food, so and if you know that your food itself is compromised, what's the point of really earning? And so I think in India especially, I think it's the behavior is changing slightly, but most of India don't really question this, don't really question the source of food, the quality of food, the nutrients inside the food that they're eating. So I think it's slowly changing. Like, you would see a lot of protein rich paneer talk that's happening, but slowly I guess it'll happen. So
it's very interesting because a lot of people who come towards organic are really coming because they believe that it is free of a lot of bad things.
Correct. Right?
But you brought in this point of for you organic is that it's full of nutrition, and that's the reason you're coming.
Yeah, I mean, of course, given that there's no fertilizers, pesticides, etc., there's lesser chemicals. That'll also make a difference. But the main reason for is really, if I had to put it in points, I would say it's nutrition first, followed by pesticides, no pesticides, and fertilizers. So these would be the three in the right order. So
taste doesn't even feature.
Oh. Taste is maybe taste also matters. So.
Yeah. Shashi, you recently did a post on how a nice thali is enough for you instead of going around looking for supplements, protein supplements and other sort of supplements. Your food itself has a lot of it, and you actually gave a breakdown. So what's your take on nutrition in organic?
So the nutrition, we need to apply a little bit of a science, okay? So generally nutrition is taken as a very thumb rule, okay, kind of aspect. But nutrition can only be fixed in a soil management system. Nutrition cannot be fixed anywhere else, okay? Either you use an input coming from outside, either chemical or an organic, and you fix the nutrition density of a crop, okay? But the question is, what is the right way to fix it? Okay, we need to really figure out, okay? There are challenges in organic production systems, okay? If you don't focus on soil management, okay, nutrition gets compromised, okay, in organic production systems also, okay? So the question is, how do we solve it? Okay, therefore, I think earlier I discussed, learn how to make a good manure, okay? Teach farmers how to make a good manure, okay? For example, one more example I can use, cow dung is assumed to be a good manure. It is not. Cow dung is a very good enabler for a manure. Okay, we need to have a lot of tree trimmings, okay, a lot of agricultural waste put together to make a good manure. Even if you make that manure, if you go and measure NPK of that, there are a lot of challenges in that. So how do you augment that? That's the reason we introduced backyard poultry to get, okay, a little bit of a chicken poop as a top dressing. Okay, we can fix a little bit of phosphorus and nitrogen issues. We need to get this knowledge at a food production system to really fix the nutrition issues. That's the reason that post can be misconstrued, because I'm talking of the food produced in our ecosystem. Okay, it has really balanced, but I have tested it also. Okay, for example, if you really look at palak grown in our research programs and palak outside taken, there's a huge difference in iron content.
Right.
Huge difference. Okay, you'll be surprised. 100% difference in what they carry. So there are challenges. Okay, gamut of challenges. Just because palak look good, okay, doesn't mean it is good. Okay, palak doesn't it got the holes in that doesn't mean that it is also good. Okay, therefore it needs to be a lot of science. That science has to become extension officer, translating into food production systems. Then only this talk should happen. Any assumptions built around nutrition that food grown in a particular production system is nutrition dense is wrong. Okay, science wise. Okay, but it is testable today. Okay, and data exists. So that post Vachana, the context is, so I went through a lot of health issues. Okay, myself, almost near death experience in COVID. Okay, and post COVID renal cell carcinoma. Okay, I also got hit, very bad hit it was. But after that, a lot of people suggested a lot of things. Okay, only thing I made was, I will not eat anything outside. Okay, I'll just eat what is locally available, what we grow. It has solved most of the problems. All vitals are perfectly normal. So maybe that cannot be extrapolated. Maybe it has worked for me. Some things it needs to be very factual. But everybody can work out this. I'm not saying it cannot be. It's not rocket science. Give me a break. Can't you spend maybe one weekend in a let me say year and figure out what is that my food should be? Okay, give a thought. No, have some silence. Give a thought. It is possible.
So I had a question. When the farmer is transitioning, okay, so from no fertilizer, fertilizer to no fertilizer, what is the role of biostimulants? As in, does it, can he, for example, he is putting 100 kilos of fertilizers and pesticides. Can he now reduce it to 80 kilos and 20 kilos of biostimulants? As in, does it work?
No, it has never worked. Okay, at least for us, it has never worked. And it's a wrong, articulation. Okay. Why, I'll tell you. So what is the fundamental aspects which a manure coming from outside is bringing you? It's bringing you, NPK.
Right.
So how do you substitute an NPK? Now that's the biostimulants are you're asking, reduce some part of it. It is not solving the fundamental problem. Okay. You're still actually getting something from outside and you're compensating. But the way we need to work, is how do you get in situ preparations working? So the transition itself, should be in situ preparation. In situ is on site in a farmer field. That's how you need to work. So the problem in the transition, that's the reason they say transition is expensive.
Right.
Why the transition is expensive? Because you're not fundamentally changed any change to that ecosystem. Cost he was incurring, he continues to incur that cost. Okay, either biostimulants or chemicals. The problem lies there, Nithin. That needs to be, we need to change the paradigm shift in understanding inputs going into the farming. He can only make a shift, but you can teach him how to make his own manure. That has to be eliminated. I'm not saying biostimulants are not required,
Right.
But that will not solve the problem. You'll still be under the same debt. You'll be under the same problems because the fundamental which is soil has not changed.
But then for that, every farmer needs to then have cows or, chicken, etc.
Animal integration is the key. Okay,
Right.
we need to really, without animal integration, it could be anything. It's go back at poultry, or it could be a goat, it could be a sheep, or it could be ducks. Okay, it could be dairy, it could be anything.
Right.
But without animal integration, and you look at 10,000 years history, Nithin. Without animal integration, we never existed. We lived with animal ecosystem, either for a meat or for a whatever, milk or whatever. That's exactly how we evolved into human beings.
Right.
Now you're trying to break away that entire system from how we evolved into a new thinking. So that is not possible. That is not at all viable. From a economics point of view, I'm talking.
Right.
Or then if you remove that animal integration part of it, then you'll start based on inputs. Somebody will give me biostimulants, somebody will give me chemical manures, somebody will. So that's the challenge. See, also, lot of misunderstanding on importance of animals, okay? You need to look from science point of view. What is animal doing? Take a cow. What is she doing? Something grass, which is a cellulose, which is just useless for us. We can't digest. We have no meaning in our life, the grass. It will convert that one into fat and protein that we can digest. So beauty of that animal is that. Beauty of a sheep is that. Beauty of a goat is that. Beauty of a chicken is that. Everything is that. There are elements which we couldn't digest. That's exactly how we evolved as a human beings, no?
Right.
That aspect is forgotten. Okay, now you're just looking at dairy standalone. Oh, get some concentrated feed that makes this. No, that's not what it is. You're not optimizing things. If grasses are not fed to the cow, in my opinion, people should not drink that milk because it's fundamentally wrong.
Right.
You're getting a concentrated feed from somewhere else. You're feeding. That's not the cow's fundamental feed. That's the issue. That's not. Cow doesn't exist for you to take a concentrated feed and produce milk. Cow exists. She can take grasses and convert that one into fat and protein, which is useful for us, and it's also useful for its offsprings. That's exactly how it is.
And say assuming you have cows and at a certain point they stop yielding milk, what do you do then?
No, so the question is, define what is a yield, okay? Okay, so we need to define what is a yield. So let us say what is a cow's life cycle, let us understand, okay? Once she gives birth to a calf, she can give milk to 305 days. That's the science says, okay? Right. She can also give 400 days, 600 days if, she is not conceiving, quickly, okay? The question is, how do you manage that entire life cycle, okay? Right. In our own home, okay, we had cows which was giving birth to 14 calves, 15 calves, 16 calves as a children we have seen. Why we moved away from that system to what it is today? Because we never fed them properly. Okay, the challenge here is there's nothing like an unproductive cow. Cow needs to be managed. She needs an access to clean water. So then what happens, Nithin, is let's assume she gives birth to a calf. Okay, in probably 150 to 200 days, she will conceive. Okay, and if you take care of her properly, and her lifetime 16, 17, 18 years. Okay, very, very productive system. For the cow, she's going to live a healthy life, and also for the farmer who is rearing it. So that's exactly how the cow needs to be really looked at. Management systems are so bad. We don't apply science. Okay, we apply pseudoscience, and we go by lots of WhatsApp University, what's happening, and we don't feed her properly. We just don't give cows clean water. Okay, so how do you expect cows to survive? Rumen load will become too much, and she starts developing acidosis. There are a lot of issues associated with cow management. So therefore, to your question, if there's an emotional question, I don't know how to answer that. Right. But if you ask from a science point of view, cows can be managed for 15, 16, 17 years very, very productively. Systems existed. Okay, we destroyed it. That's how it is.
No, but with cows, the issue is, the methane,
yes.
When what they produce is apparently harmful.
Yes.
Right? As in, how do you think about that?
See, the way you manage animals integration in a farming, you need to think, very, very, practically. Okay. If you put 10,000 cows under one roof, right, and you keep shouting there's a methane gas out there, of course it will be. Right. Okay. Of course the methane gas emissions happen. Okay. Right. If you integrate 5 animals, 10 animals into a farming ecosystem, so this entire management is a beauty. Okay, there's nothing to beat. Okay, right. Circular systems can be created. It existed. So how come methane gas articulations are suddenly coming up, Nithin? It's a Western articulation of how the farming is done, how the animal integration happened in farming. There's no animal integration in farming there. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 animals on one roof. It's a factory system. You give an input, you get an output. So that's how it is looked at. That right. Entire articulations comes from there. Take at our own data, compiled by British government. I'm not saying myself. When when a farmer starts working with Akshayakalpa on day 0 to produce 1 kg of milk, 2.4 kgs of methane gas emissions, 2.6 kgs of okay, carbon dioxide emissions, okay,
Right.
is what the calculation is. Over a period of 10 years, the same production system, same farmer is able to produce 1 kg of fat and protein corrected milk at 1.41 kgs emission of carbon dioxide. So what is that it says is efficiencies can be bought in. Okay, alarming reactions that, okay, cow is a bad thing to happen. I don't believe, okay, that articulations. It's a pure Western articulation. It is imposed on that. When the consulting firm, they came here and they started thinking this is how the West is, what's happening. I told you, baseline the West,
Right.
okay, and what's happening. Now you measure us, okay, but don't sell, okay, the Western systems are followed here. Now you try to match one-on-one. It doesn't work like that, okay. So that is when, okay, the system evolved over a period of last 2.5 years. That work is ongoing. Now we arrived at a template. We definitely believe this can be further cut down. So therefore, it's a overreaction, okay, in my opinion. Western articulation of number of animals under a roof, extremely difficult to manage. So let me say outskirts of, let me say, a city, the amount of methane gas emissions, 20,000 animals, can you imagine? And imagine Akshayakalpa right now, just 20,000 animals, 23,000 animals we are tracking and tagging. You know, amount of area they are spread now, it is close to 30,000 square kilometers. You can imagine, that's the beauty of, okay, our agrarian systems. We need to really start focusing on that. And this articulation of the same 20,000 animals will exist in 20-30 acres. Isn't it insane, crazy? Imagine that, Nithin. So that's my view on that. It's again, it's not an emotional aspect, it's a science aspect, okay, associated with dairying. So a lot of methane talk. Look, how many farmers, okay, we have gone and installed methane gas units? That's also need to be questioned. It's an amazing source of energy. 1,750 methane gas units we have installed, Nithin. Every farm of Akshayakalpa is mandatory. Install a methane gas unit, dung goes through that methane gas production system, your water heating, okay, your cooking, everything of an Akshayakalpa farmer is off grid. So that is the beauty of integrating an animal into agrarian ecosystems.
And you're able to get the dung after using for manure also?
Yes. Yeah. Now what happens is it goes to a methane gas system, it comes out, it goes to what we call the biodigester unit. From biodigester unit, we have integrated a small 2 HP, 3 HP cutter pumps. That cutter pumps actually distribute that entire manure back to the field. If you go to any Akshayakalpa farm, this is the design. We have made this design cookie cutter. Everywhere, wherever you go, we have made it cookie cutter.
That extends, right? Like Sidhu's farm we went to recently, like his other farm, which was some 4 kilometers away, he had that pipe.
Yes. So, yeah, it's a little bit, it's made some money. Now, he has taken that pipe to one more piece of land. He has got a little bit far off. Okay. So these are the innovations will happen. This young guy is innovating. So that's exactly how it is.
So we spoke about, consumers right now, wondering whether they can trust where their food comes from.
Right.
So at Akshayakalpa, we have this program where we take people back to the farm. We say, you come, if you're a customer of Akshayakalpa, see what we're doing. It's a 2-day program. You can come, stay there and see everything that we're doing, right? About 50,000 customers have come so far and stayed at the Akshayakalpa farms. Right. How do we turn this into a movement is something that we are constantly wondering, because whenever we speak about this, even from a marketing point of view, people say, but that's still a small number, right? Like, how do you touch more people and how do you get more people to want to kind of question the source of their food?
I mean, this is a good start. So basically it's been on my list to come and stay at the farm, and but it keeps getting postponed. So essentially, I think you have to figure how do you get people with influence to come to the farms, and then maybe share on their social media, etc. And that, I mean, that's probably the best bet, so that you have. And but I'll make sure, I come.
We have something very tempting for you, Nithin. We've created a 60-kilometer route on which you can cycle.
Oh, sweet.
But it goes to farm to farm.
It goes from farm to farm.
Oh,
it's a 60-kilometer route that we have connected. We call it
where is this?
It's a Tiptur.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So for sure.
If people who come there, we give our bicycles. Okay.
Or
They
you can bring your cycles,
Yeah.
like both are fine, and you
Okay.
can ride through the entire path, and every
Ah.
pit stop
And the path is
through rural Karnataka.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you
and
have
going
ponds
from
and
farm to
lakes
farm.
and all of that.
Farm
Yeah.
to farm, you go. Farm becomes a pit stop.
Ah.
You go there, maybe have just see what he's doing.
and cycling on main roads, or it's not
No,
really.
it's a little bit of a rural
Ah.
terrain. Okay, it's not main roads.
Okay, that's sweet. As in,
Yeah.
so maybe how many people can you accommodate there?
You tell us, we'll
Yeah.
organize
Yeah,
it.
so yeah, basically, we'll make sure we come together as a team.
Yeah, we do what is called as an organic circuit.
Okay.
Now we are trying to pilot this one in Shadnagar,
Okay.
in Hyderabad also.
Ah,
So Tiptur we have piloted. It works.
Right.
Okay, but people should be willing to
travel.
take
then.
that path.
And how many kilometers is this from Bangalore?
So 150 kilometers.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
northwest of Bangalore. Okay, in Bangalore Shimoga Highway. Yeah,
Oh, and you stay overnight, is it?
yeah. Overnight you stay. Yes,
Ah,
because we give tent accommodations.
okay.
Okay, in farmer places also it is there. It's in some central place also is there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So for sure.
Yeah.
We'll come. So,
And that point, Vachana, especially the consumer angle, see, it's extremely critical that we understand. It's a lot of questions on can you scale this program. My question is why we should scale here. The small is enough, okay. But if people are learning from that, 50,000 people we educated, no.
Right.
So I'm saying, I think in the name of scale, now we try to do a lot of unholy things.
Right.
So in my opinion, we should try to curtail that propensity to everything scale. Why we need to scale?
Yeah.
It can be small also, but they will go and take it to next level. We need not. Imagine one customer is going and influencing one more.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be having a little bit of a patience. And marketeers generally, they want to think, oh, I did repeated this. Okay, how do you make it bigger and bigger?
yeah. And so this is exactly the same discussion we are having at Zerodha too. From 2020 onwards, we suddenly hit like a big scale, because of the market. As in, we did nothing different because of markets growing 5 times. We were at the right place, right time, and we luckily grew. And so, but one of the things that we missed out on between 2020 to 2023 was on a video play. As in, all the content were continuing to go in form of text. And then 2023, one of the new boys who joined our team, he did a presentation and he showed our YouTube channel and he said, what is our content strategy? And I was like, I was shocked. So, and from 2023 onwards until now, in terms of video content, I think, I don't know, we got like 15 or 20 channels running right now. But with that scale, a lot of baggage to the business has come in. Like, just making sure that this content is in sync with the whole business philosophy.
Yeah.
Right. As in, because if there was essentially Varsity, which is our education piece. There was one channel and one philosophy. Now you have to wonder if all the 15 business channels, what they're saying is in sync with the philosophy. Yes. And we are debating about that right now. Like, okay, we've in this quest of ensuring that we're on the top of the video content strategy as well, as in is that we set out to put these channels, but in terms of how do we ensure that everyone is in sync, because you're doing 15 channels, you can't have everything being produced in-house.
Yeah.
So you have to rely on 2-3 vendors. Now, design, you have to rely on multiple designers, and then all of them will not be in sync. And they're not being in sync with Zerodha's philosophy, as in, and generally in terms of these 3-4 different teams not being in sync. So that's like a problem that we are addressing, at Zerodha, but as a content piece, it's doing really well. But the idea is, with this sudden scaling is some of these issues are cropping up
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah, I think the way we look at it is, anything that we launch, is it aligning back with the value system of the
Correct.
organization?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're only doing one thing, it's okay.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, if there are 10 people like you and they're doing 10 different things, how do you make sure everything is in
Yeah.
sync?
True.
Is
Yeah.
in line with the philosophy of the business? Yeah, that's a challenge, So,
Yeah. Yeah, like for us also, I think like we have what we call experiences, right, which we invest in. Good Food Talks being one of them. We have a recycling program where we take the milk packets back from our customers
Yeah.
from their doorstep, right? It's an India First initiative.
Correct.
And we've been able to, we've managed to collect more than 50,000 kg of plastic from from customers. We have another program called Good Food for Schools, where we go to schools and teach children how to grow their own vegetables. It's a 5-week program. And this year we're attempting to reach 100 schools in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad.
No, I mean, amongst all our investments, we have done 120 odd investments. The most proud I feel about Akshayakalpa, So it's basically everything is in sync. With what a business should actually do. So everything that you said, is absolutely wonderful. As in, we guys are also part of that, milk packet.
Let's give back the milk.
Let's give back the milk. So I think it's just brilliant. Whatever Shashi, you guys have all done. So.
And also recently we started a rent a cutlery program, along with the partnership with Adama Chaitanya.
Right.
And Zero Junk Birthdays, where we want to really teach kids, our parents, how we can celebrate birthdays a little bit consciously.
Right.
So we plan to, invest a little bit on these properties and see how do we make it more inclusive. It's just not silos. It's just not about milk. It's just about how do we build these entire things together.
But, the question I have is, this doesn't, I mean, while this is a perfect business in our head, but not everyone would think of it as the same way, because, if there's a shareholder and he's also a shareholder, also is limited by, his choices.
Yes.
And he pushes you to grow only in terms of, what can add value to the shareholder. So how do you think about this? How do you maneuver, keeping all the shareholders' expectations, as in, apart from us, everyone else's expectations in sync?
No, it's a challenge, Nithin. It's a huge challenge. But the only thing is, I think when they come to when we onboarded them, I think we are also clear. Hey, this is the business, okay, and we have got limitations, okay, and also a certain way we are operating, and we have been upfront about it, okay. And for example, when A91 came, and I couldn't make up my mind till they visited all our extension,
right?
Okay, both VT Bharadwaj and Prasoon along with the team. They came to the most farthest place at that point of time was Chengalpattu.
Right.
Okay, and 2 days they spent visiting farm by farm. Those farms were not up and running at that point of time. There's no plant there. 4 years of work we had done. Okay, no farm to show, but we could only show farm. These are fodder plot we have done.
Right.
I think, see, those kind of ethos actually would be, we should be able to articulate in a boardroom and give and take, manner. Right. Okay, for example, this year, there were some articulations on a research budget is a little bit higher. And when you make money, you spend. I think it's a fair articulation, okay?
Right.
So I think we also need to be very balanced in our approach, but we should not give up, okay? That's my only view is, I think as a founders or entrepreneurs, we should never give up on what we signed up for, but tell them upfront, okay? Some people like, some people don't like. It's a fine balance, and that's the reason most of the work what we do, we don't go and talk outside. Okay, it creates a lot of mess in people think, a lot of, to be honest, on the table, a lot of people think we are an NGO.
Right.
Okay. Most of the people, they think we are an NGO. Okay. So I have I'm at loss to explain, no, we are not NGO. So, this is our sales, this is our marketing. So right now, when you go and people just see, you're saying, they're trying to realize, this is a business, okay? Therefore, entire back end, we are isolating. I think I spoke to Samir at a length on, these things. The entire back end we want to shield, from, let me say, a lot of exposure.
Right.
Just continue to plow. All the research you take it to farms. So that's exactly how we are looking at. But that articulation is different. So as part of Series D Money Rise, I've met who and who of the investment world, good interest in Akshayakalpa. Yeah. They don't understand farming, Nithin.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's extremely difficult piece to explain. It is not that they're wrong. They understand markets exceptionally well.
Right.
Okay, they understand the growth exceptionally well, return on investments exceptionally well. But as a farming piece, they don't really understand. They don't see there's a value, at least my interpretation of my interactions is they don't see a value in managing that riskiest piece.
Right.
What they see a value is the post-harvest side of it.
Right.
They see a riskiest piece. Also, is it possible you can give some inputs to farmers so that it becomes part of a revenue? I told no. Mm-hmm. That will never ever be a revenue piece in Akshayakalpa. Why you have separately put as extension services as revenue? I see it as a zero gross margin. It is zero gross margin business. Mm-hmm. You like it or not. So 12-13 crores revenues what we book, in a yearly basis. Nithin, it's a zero gross margin business. They're saying why it is a zero, but we don't want to make money out of that. But we have culled out a separate line item. And what we have done is, from an investor's point of view, you just leave out those revenues. You leave out your extension revenues. You leave out your B2B revenues. All of it, which you think is zero gross margin, negative gross margin, you leave out. And you only look at a positive gross margin business, then look at a blended gross margin. So we are able to demonstrate to them that Akshayakalpa can be a 40% blended gross margin business, I think. Right. So that's how we are trying to orchestrate. It's a very difficult orchestration. Lot of times I do feel like giving up. But the challenge here is, I think last 15 years of work, we'll go in different direction if you just give up.
Yeah. And basically, I get asked by founders, right? Like, if you had to raise money, how would you raise it? And essentially setting the expectations right. Yeah. And I think you've done a brilliant job with it. As in, right from day one, you've been very clear about what the business is. And even the A91 guys, I spoke to them and they were very clear why they are investing, because you had set the expectations, right? So no, it's absolutely right, because when investors come in with the wrong expectations, that's when
all the problems starts.
Yeah.
Even from a marketing point of view, right? Like all these things that we spoke about, whether it is recycling, good food for schools, rent cutlery, zero waste, zero junk birthdays that we're doing. For us, all of this is brand building.
Correct, yeah.
Right? Like instead of blowing up all our money on media, right, we are investing in creating something that is tangible, right? Something that we can keep investing in. And
exactly, the business of Zerodha is essentially based on this. Like, so from 2012 onwards, we started building Varsity. Luckily for us, the underlying market picked up. Like, so, and we grew in size. I think the underlying market in the health sector also is going to pick up. It's just a matter of time. It can't be that, people don't question this, what's the quality of food. At some point in the near future, it'll pick up. And at that time, I think automatically Akshayakalpa is well placed to do well.
No, we have definitely drawn inspiration from everything that Varsity has done as well. Like when we were starting this whole content piece, we've looked at the kind of work that Zerodha has done and taken inspiration from it,
absolutely. As in, I think a lot more businesses need to do this. And absolutely in sync with your strategy.
Yeah. Speaking of investments, one of the points is also that like when investment happens, there's a lot of focus on ROI, right? But is there any focus or any want or conviction for change in the ecosystem?
No, see, the thing is, I don't think. I mean, the way we invest. So the whole idea has been that we take 10% of profits and we invest in entrepreneurs that we like and the businesses that they're building that we like, and in spaces that we like. So be it health, be it around climate, around. Akshayakalpa falls in between health and climate, and fintech and media and things like that. Sectors where it's harder to raise money, because we realize that what's the point of giving money if you're one amongst 100 people who is ready to give them money. We said let's support sectors where it's harder to raise money. And the thing is, one of the things I realized is that in India the business cycles is very long. For example, if you will take at least 15 years, 14 to 15 years, 10 to 15 years to build a sustainable revenue generating business. And but all the VCs, etc., they kind of come in with a 7-year cycle. So it's not possible that you put and the 7-year cycle is is copied from the West. In the US, for example, if you recently I was reading a protein bar company. Okay, it's in the first year the sales has reached $100 million. I mean, it's in India, you can't think of a brand that can get to 100 crores in 1 year, let alone 800 crores. So in the first year of the business, because you can't take that model that works in the US and then copy paste it to India. So we said it needs to be structured in such a way that we back the investor for much longer, back the startup for much longer. So we said we're not gonna, we are looking at 10 to 15 years and not really looking at 7 years. So that framework, that mental framework itself, gives a lot of flexibility to everyone. It gives us a lot more room and flexibility. It gives the entrepreneurs a lot of room and flexibility in terms of how to build a business. So I think but I can't really say that with a lot of venture and private equity guys, because they are kind of limited by the choices they have made in the structure of the fund. I think, for example, the Westbridge Capital is one of those funds which is structured as a perennial fund. It's so it means a fund is set up which can hold the fund for forever. I don't think anyone else in India is really structured like that. We are also structured like a perennial, so we can hold the investment forever. Hopefully, more of that will happen. More of those kind of investments happen. It is, we are in a better place than where we were 5 years, 10 years back with entrepreneurs making some money. Indian entrepreneurs making money, like Mithun Sancheti or Dipinder Goyal or etc. So hopefully, when they invest into startups, they also think like us. They're not thinking at 5 to 7 years, but they're thinking of a 10 to 15 year cycle.
Your investment to Akshayakalpa came at a very crucial time, and I think, Shashi, you should talk about that.
I know that's interesting. That was in the middle of a pandemic. I think it's 2020, November, December time frame. We are struggling as a company, and we're trying to hold ourselves together. Sales were falling because of unlock. The customers left, and we had added around 600 farmers by then, and we are bleeding EBITDA. Okay, we are constructing a plant. Okay, and a lot of cash was going in there. A lot of things happened. Okay, I think I don't know you realize that one or not. That 5 crores infusion which happened at that point of time actually saved us, and without that I think we were gone. I think that's an amazing intervention, Nithin. And of course post that you backed us with our further rounds, but that 5 crores I think is a changing moment um, it's a life-changing moment for us in Akshayakalpa. There's somebody who's out there. At least I didn't know you. Okay, I think you were introduced through Zareen.
Right.
Okay, Nithin wrote that email. Okay, saying, "Hey Zareen, this one." I knew you, but reading, but not personally. I was just thinking how to reply to this email. Okay, I just fought 4 or 5 days how to reply, but that entire investments happened in around 25 days. Okay, and so that was crazy. Okay, for me, that restored a little bit of a confidence on what we had lost. I had lost full confidence. Our work, what we are doing, it's nobody's baby. First 9 years, Nithin, I not told many people, we went 6 times close to bankruptcy because we didn't add money.
Right.
These 27 people, every time we got into trouble, we got into a phone call, I don't have money to salary payment. Can you transfer some money? This is exactly how Akshayakalpa was built first 9 years. And of course, low capital took a risk on us and invested. But further, we got into complications of not our making, okay, for whatever the pandemic. So what made you invest that? I never asked you. Last time I asked you, you dodged that question. Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, the thing was, the first time I met you also, I remember very vividly that, and you met us and you went, and I told Samir, who was in the meeting, that we need to support, so, and that's also a function of us being in a good spot, us being in a place where we could take a 5 crore risk and doesn't matter to us, so, and that was a function that, basically when you were going through trouble, we were blossoming as a business. Like 2020, 2021 was really when we were seeing significant scale in business. So I guess it was like marriage made in heaven. So I don't really give myself too much credit. I remember the first time I met you also, and I reached out to Kailash, and I was telling him that your business is such a tough business, and like with us, we are like 50 people who run the business, as in that's all, the core number of people who run the business are just around 50, 60 people. And we see scales and profitability and scale in revenue and profitability. And I just wonder, I wonder that, do we actually deserve to be making as much money as we do, right? So, so in terms of, it was a no-brainer for us, because we are not really looking at it as an investment. We're looking at it as more as like, yeah, I don't want to say this, but we were thinking of this as more as CSR.
Okay.
Okay. CSR as in, in the sense, because the first 5 crores was just to say, okay, we need to support you, and it doesn't matter if this 5 crore, we blow up the 5 crores. And then of course, then the future rounds, was really, was like that. So yeah, so 10% of, what we had decided was 10% of our revenues, of the profits, we'll keep it for investing in entrepreneurs. 10% we've kept it as foundation to kind of, I also think that like the way for-profit entrepreneurs need, opportunities, etc. Even the social sector has really great entrepreneurs, and they need capital as well. So, and yeah, so that's how, I've been thinking about this.
Yeah, I think I never knew that side of the story. But we took that capital very, very seriously, Nithin. I think there was the most serious capital I took. Then, in fact, the money raised from low capital. We became extremely serious, and we cut off all the flab, in the system. Got the plant live. Satya came and went live with the plant, and December 2021, the things started turning around. People started coming back, and the business started picking up. And all the farms we dropped, 300 farms we dropped, anything.
Right.
Okay, and we added in 2 years, we added all of them back.
No, I mean,
Okay,
it's phenomenal what you guys have done. So from near death to growing till here, it's just phenomenal. Like I was telling you some time back, yesterday, I was meeting Kishore Biani and his family for dinner at Food Stories, and I felt so proud because he showed me this brand called this. I was telling about organic, and I was telling you need to put more organic food and etc. And he said, no, come here, I'll show you organic food. And he said, here's Akshayakalpa, and I was like, oh, okay, so we know them well, so. And I felt so proud, so congrats, so.
What excites you most about where India's food system is headed?
I mean, I don't think there's too much of excitement actually, so a little bit of green shoots, as in with whatever Akshayakalpa is doing, or I think we also like, Bhumi farms, for example. We also like there are a bunch of these things that we are supporting. We like the fact, we like these things, but this whole questioning what is the source of food, I think it's really only now starting, because now you have people asking for that question, as in the last 1-2 years. And I think that's more exciting, because once they ask question, market will give the answer for that. So.
Yeah. You spoke about green shoots. We also have a program called Good Food Movement, where we go around India. And I call them islands of hope. Right. Farmers in different parts of the country doing good work, right? And fighting against all odds and creating those small clusters, which actually gives you hope. So I think that's another initiative that we've taken to bring out stories of, people, whether it's Kashmir to Kanyakumari. I think we've covered, we have stories today.
Oh, I forgot to ask, Shashi, one more thing. How do you make sure that everything you is organic? As in, like, how do you make sure that all the produce that you see is or you claim to be organic?
See, the entire aspect starts from what is going to the input side of the farm.
Right.
Okay, that's the only way to ensure that. You have to cut the external inputs. If the external inputs continue to come to the farm, you cannot claim even external input is an organic certified input. I don't believe today.
Right.
So therefore, the fundamental aspect is that manure making. The manure making cut 90% of the external inputs which are coming to the farm. So that is where the change starts happening. So that's the reason these biostimulants, I'm not very big fan of it. I don't know what it is.
Right.
Okay, then I need to go and research on what it is coming from, how it is made. Okay, what is the source. So that's the path we have taken. Okay,
right.
And there is an objective way to measure it. For example, today, if you can take a food sample, okay, and if you are willing to spend 20,000 rupees, you should be able to get the maximum residue level aspects of a food tested in and out. Okay, you should be able to clearly demonstrate what are the various residue aspects, 283 residues, okay, in our agricultural system today. Okay, it should be able to objectively able to tell you that it is there or it is not there. So that is the fundamental test, okay,
right.
And the process, okay, how do you cut the external inputs? That's how it is. That's the only way. You can have certificates, you can have that, you can have this, all those things to validate external view. But process-wise, you need to be clear what makes it organic. It's very, very important, Nithin. That's the reason services part play a very crucial role to ensure organic production systems. If you leave farmer on his own, it is not going to work, okay? And that's the reason people would trade on organic, I don't believe. Okay, and I'm extremely spooked on organic because of wherever trade is involved. I'm extremely worried because there's no control over there, what's happening.
I have a 90-second pitch on what makes Akshayakalpa milk organic. Would you like to listen?
Yeah, sure.
So we take care of three things really well. We take care of our cows really well, the soil really well, and the milk really well. Conventionally, cows are tied and tethered. There's a rope going through the nose. At Akshayakalpa, we leave our cows free.
Right.
By doing so, the cow is moving around. She's eating when she wants, drinking water when she wants. A cow needs anywhere between 25 to 40 kg of fodder every single day.
Oh.
She needs 60 to 150 liters of water every single day. So in the conventional system, this is not happening, right? So in the Akshayakalpa system, because she's getting all of this, she's not stressed. When she's not stressed, her body is not producing cortisol. And when that is happening, she is healthy. If she falls sick, which is what happens in India, very often, 1 in 3 cows at any given point in time are sick. The farmer is going to administer antibiotics. Antibiotic resistance is becoming the largest threat to mankind. So that is one thing that we take care of really well. Of course, there's no growth hormone, induced growth hormones, and her body is not producing stress hormones. All these 3 things, if it is there in the cow's body, will be there in the milk. The second thing we take care of really well is the soil. If you have to become an Akshayakalpa farmer, like Shashi has been speaking, it's a 3-year journey. You need to, ensure that there's no pesticides, there's no fertilizer residue in the soil. So the farmer does all of these things before that milk starts becoming a part of the Akshayakalpa pool. Another thing we take really good care of is aflatoxins. Now, this is basically fungus that grows on food that becomes part of the cow's fodder. In the industrial system, this is a risk that is there, right? And this is known to be a class 1 carcinogen, right? So at Akshayakalpa, because a farmer is growing his own fodder and it's a closed loop system, nothing is coming from outside. He's able to take care of this and make sure that there's no aflatoxins in any of the fodder that he's now feeding the cow. So that's the soil part of the story. And then the milk part of the story is conventionally, there is open bucket milking that happens. At Akshayakalpa, we don't do that because open bucket it leads to contamination. There can be cow urine, cow dung, mud, anything that is in the environment can get into the milk. So ours is machine milking. It's very gentle on the cows. 7 to 8 minutes is what it takes. It also removes drudgery from the farming ecosystem, which usually it would take him 25 to 30 minutes per cow, now can be done in 7 to 8 minutes. And of course, we take care of, make sure that there is no adulteration and there's no preservatives getting added to milk. We do all of this also because the farmer is motivated to do these things. He's incentivized to give purity and not just fat and SNF, which we're measuring.
Then this adulteration and how do you ensure that? You test?
Yes. So there is testing that happens at farm level. In the country, we are the largest buyers of antibiotic strips. Right? No other company is buying as many antibiotic strips as Akshayakalpa because at every farm, the farmer is testing. It's his responsibility to make sure that the milk that he's giving us, whether it's antibiotics, whether it's aflatoxins, whether it's adulteration, it is free of all of that. Because he is now only given 3 chances. If he falters, he stops being an Akshayakalpa farmer. Right? So if he wants to be a part of the system, and he has a lot of incentive to be a part of the system because he gets this extension service that, that Shashi spoke about, which is not there in the conventional model.
Got it.
And just to add on to that, Nithin, for example, last financial year, our testing budget was 32 crores. Okay, for a small company like us, with that kind of a budget, we need to invest a little bit more on the testing side of this entire food value chain. Starting from soil side, to the produce side, lot of work is required, and each one test at a farm level, Nithin, just to you are aware. So every day, at 200 rupees, one strip, which can tell you antibiotics and aflatoxins. We invest. Farmer doesn't invest. We give those strips to farmers. They are supposed to validate what is happening. The strips when a milk gets lifted, the strips actually go along with that. Data goes to the cloud, and when the milk arrives in the plant, we retest it. So therefore, 400 rupees investment on every farm milk we lifted. So
and how much milk do you get from every farm?
So at an average, for example, right now, as I speak, at an average, we are producing around 90 liters of milk per farm. So that allows us so that leeway. What happens in a conventional system is 2, 3 liters, 5 liters, 10 liters. There's no way you can test at a farm level that cost. So therefore, that's the reason some of the cost articulations people don't really understand when they pay price to that milk. It's extremely expensive. So recently there was an email note from Zerodha saying these testing systems is a technology exists, All the technology exists today to detect every adulterant possible in milk in the country today. Not that we don't have, but they are extremely convoluted. Can you take the test system into the field and test it? It's not possible. You have to get it to a central place. Okay. And extremely time consuming. You need to make the decisions quickly. Okay. We need to get the results in 30 seconds. How do you do that? You can't take 30 hours by the time every produce is gone. Okay. So that's the reason a lot of, what you call deviations are taken. We need to organize these, systems. It's possible. But amount of money we are spending is mind blowing. 32 crores.
That's
budget.
like 10% of your revenue.
Yeah, it's around 9% of the revenue previous years. 9%. This year our testing budget is 69 crores.
Right.
Okay, this financial year.
Wow.
Okay, so it's huge, Nithin.
But that's also a promise to the customer, right?
Right.
Like the reason you trust is because we are obsessed with doing these things right. So
Got it.
See, unless you validate what happened there, it has no meaning. So you can tell 1,000 stories, 2,000 stories. It doesn't matter at all. There should be a validating system. The production happened. Can you validate the production? Okay. That's the systems we need to evolve. Okay. Maybe over a period of time, we will taper down on, amount of money we spend.
Right.
But right now it required to set right examples. It's very, very important. So we are able to confidently write on a milk packet
That's
free
all,
of
yeah.
antibiotics.
Oh, free.
Nobody able to write that, in country today.
Got it.
Yeah.
what is one thing that you would change about how food is produced or consumed in India?
I mean, if there was one thing I would say, I would get people to cook as much food in their houses versus eating out. I mean, that's a basic thing, and I guess, I mean, the answer would be that. So,
Shashi?
See, I look at the things very, very differently. The food systems in India won't change if you don't get young people into farming. So unless you get young people into farming, innovation won't happen. So innovation cannot be centralized, anything. Innovation actually is extremely decentralized, and young people will make that change. So the question here is extremely difficult in India to get young people into farming today. So even if you take my examples also, why I became an engineer was because my father never wanted me to be a farmer.
Right.
Not that I had a great engineering brain. It's not true. Every kid born in villages today, they are going out. We like it or not, guy or girl and a boy. That needs to change. That's the only change we need in Indian food ecosystem. Retaining young people in farming, maybe make farming vocation of choice once they complete their studies. Farming also can be equal opportunity,
Right.
choice you make, the doctor, engineer, or any other things, farming. So I believe very, very bleak to make this happen.
But given whatever is happening in AI, I keep thinking about it. Like maybe, things that are more physical in nature, will maybe over the next 10, 20 years will really make a comeback.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some hope.
Yes, but we also need to realize, Nithin, the practicalities of farming.
Okay.
So consolidations will happen. We can't just say wish away from it, but young people will go away from farming, and number of farming families will reduce. I think by policy, by design, we are telling there are a lot of people in farming.
Right.
Get them out of the farming. So all these are deadly cocktail. We don't know the outcomes. But we are we are framing policies and our actions based on unknown outcomes. But that is deadly. It is happening. You take Punjab. It's one of the most deadliest cancer capital of the country. There are a lot of, one train runs, it's a cancer train.
Correct, yeah.
So who is responsible for it? It's our food production systems. Nobody is responsible for it. We did very bad job there. And you really look at recently mango prices. This year mango is a disaster. And why did we produce so much when there is no market for it? And why fruit pulping companies are not coming forward and buying that mango? Because it's a commodity. And why local markets are not evolving? Uttar Pradesh is the biggest state produces mango in the country. And they just threw all the mango on streets this year. Everywhere they threw it because there is no market. Harvesting didn't happen. Forget Uttar Pradesh. Ramnagar, I spent 4 days this year visiting all the mango orchards, mango farms I know. Nobody harvested mango because this is being asked at 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 3 rupees, 5 rupees per kg. I'm saying, where is the hope for food production systems in the country? So it is not. So only thing is, only job we can do is stay positive, okay, keep plowing and hope something positive happens. That's the only thing, okay. But right now, everything is stacked against fixing this issue.
You spoke about taking young farmers back to farming, but do you think the decentralized local food systems, will they scale without compromising quality?
Yes, that's the only way. There is no other way. Why Uttar Pradesh, okay, mangoes were not sold in Uttar Pradesh local markets? Why? Why such a system exists? A pulping company has to go and buy that mangoes and create a market. Why? The way we think is very flawed, extremely copied from West. And we are not understanding our it's very painful. We're not understanding our agrarian systems. Western models cannot be copied here. The models existed here. It's not that something new which is happening. Just go 100 years back. No, I don't know. I don't think anybody threw mangoes on the road. Mangoes existed then also. So why suddenly it is happening? Because everything focused on market. Okay, you continue to grow, somebody will come and buy. You didn't put your head to sell locally. So that's the issue. That's the fundamental issue. Some of the experiments we have done on oil, extraction and selling locally, it is working. But will it become a national phenomenon? No, I don't believe so. But we need to keep trying. So I don't know anything, but I might sound extremely negative, but yes, Akshayakalpa, certain things are working. But I fundamentally don't believe farming as exists today as a future in India. It will be totally changed in 50 years. I think unless drastic measures are taken now. But as individuals, as organizations, maybe what you're attempting, okay, I respect it a lot. Is that good enough? I don't think so. It is good enough, Nithin.
I'm also like a cheerful pessimist, so I kind of agree with whatever you're saying.
What is one small but impactful step anyone listening today can take towards eating better? I know you said eat at home.
No, I think just questioning the source of everything that's put on the table. Like, I think the impact of that will be significant. So because if people question, there will be, like I said, market will come. Just we need as many people sitting and questioning on what is the source of food. So that's it.
Every time I say this to my friends, one thing they say is it's very intimidating to do that.
Right.
Like, how do I know where everything in my kitchen is going to come from?
I mean, it takes a little bit of effort. As in, it takes maybe, it's taken me with all the resources I have, maybe like a month to figure out all the sources of food and then and making sure they are organic, etc. But I guess you don't have to be 100% there at the first go. So even if 10, 20, 30%, you're there. Like you said, you don't eat paneer because of whatever reason. Outside paneer, and you eat only Akshayakalpa's paneer. So maybe like that. Maybe a choice is, am I eating paneer that's not adulterated? That's a good way to. I mean, it's a. I don't think when it comes to food, you can't really. I think it's flawed if people compromise on that. That small bit. I think everything. People have to put their brains behind it. So.
Yeah, I think consumers, my clear message is consumers cannot assume I have money, I buy through. It is not possible.
Yeah.
They need to put enough energy, enough effort to organize their food systems. Okay. Go and at least, how many times you have visited a farmer, okay, who produces your food? No attempt. Did you go to that grocer and ask that question? Where did that food come from? Grocer might not have an answer, but you will become aware that people are asking these questions. How many times you picked up, okay, that grapes out there, amount of residues which are there. Did you ask them? Okay. Nobody asks this. Okay. We assume somebody will do everything properly and give it to us. That is not going to happen unless you question it. So that's what my message is. Start questioning. Okay. And it doesn't matter. Brands will become aware. They will fall in line. They have no other option. They need to fall in line.
No, I mean, like just an example, just the demand, like people questioning protein.
Yes.
I mean, I don't agree whatever is happening in terms of, but the market happened.
Yes.
That's because all the people questioning what's the protein content in my food. I mean, market will come. It's really the demand which has to be brought in and assumed.
Yeah. I think it's been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, Nithin, for
sure.
coming one more time on Good Food Talks. And thank you, Shashi, for featuring for the first time on a podcast that your team is producing.
Thank you, Archana. I think it's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Nithin.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.